Hello and welcome to a Monster Mechanics bonus episode where we're going to be talking about what creature deserves its own movie.
Alrighty.
All right. I think the idea is self-explanatory enough, which is that if you could green light a movie based on any creature of myth, or I guess we probably going to have to skip over things that already are already existent in media, unless it has like
unless you got a hot take on it or something.
Yeah. Or like just it's something that didn't get featured enough. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be, I mean, the thing that comes to mind is sort of monster or horror or slasher kind of movies. But if you have something that's softer than that, that's all fair game as far as I'm concerned.
Alrighty.
The thing I was going to say when I first thought of this question was Selkie, which I think would be a really cool creature to feature in a film. But
go ahead and explain what a Selkie is.
Oh yeah. Selkies are they're when a seal comes ashore and takes off its skin and then is a beautiful human woman inside. And then the traditional
sailors got so lonely to think this stuff up.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But so the legends are that like a man would like meet a woman and not know that she was secretly a Selkie and marry her, and then she would hide her skin away. And there's a fantastic movie about this already called Song of the Sea, done by an Irish animation group. It is really good. I'd highly recommend it. So I can't use them, unfortunately.
What's the name of the film?
It's called Song of the Sea. Well, so do you have something in mind, Zach?
So what I was thinking was also kind of in keeping with that horror idea was the Native American myth of the Skinwalker.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
there's a lot of really interesting lore there, and it's just a really nasty, pure evil kind of monster.
Yeah. And as I remember correctly from like the actual Navajo myths, what little we know about them, because the Navajo are very tight-lipped about the actual Skinwalker legends. They think that letting that information out is dangerous. But one of the few things we know is that it's often thought to be a human who committed a great crime in order to gain power specifically.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. I like that take on it, where it's not just it wasn't created out of like it wasn't made by a god or just happened to be some evil thing that existed. It's a human who made the choice to be evil, which is really cool.
It's a human who was so evil that he became monstrous as a result of it.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'd love to see a take on that, especially if they could get like actual like the perspective of indigenous peoples when they built that, because that has the potential of turning really exploitative really quickly if a bunch of white people all did it.
Yeah, that's true. But there's just a lot of interesting stuff about like I want to say it's like the witching way and whatnot. There's just a lot of cool, interesting, relatively unexplored lore there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would love to see that perspective of the actual people whose myth that is.
But I think another part of it is like in their culture, like those creatures are so evil that they just don't talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So getting that on the big screen is probably antithetical to what they're trying to go for.
Yeah, that's true. Well, the one that I was thinking was the true old school basilisk.
Okay.
I think would make a very good horror movie. I like this giant lizard that can turn you to stone.
Mm-hmm.
It's a take on the sort of monster movie that doesn't have a lot of gore in it, but could be instead very suspenseful.
Yeah. So isn't it like the maybe I'm thinking of the cockatrice, but it's like born from the egg of a hen or something.
I think the basilisk is talked about more of like as a king of serpents, and oh my god, the Wikipedia photo for it is hilarious. I
have to see this.
I'm gonna put it in the Zoom chat.
Oh my god, the humpbacked lizard chicken with a crown. For reasons.
And a little waddle and a sort of Sam the Eagle expression.
Yeah.
From the Muppets.
That's something, all right.
Well, I think that undercuts my idea of making it into a horror creature. But I still think that a properly realized basilisk could be really cool as a monster of a horror movie, where instead of ripping people to shreds, it just turns them to stone. And then you get that jump scare maybe when somebody like turns a corner and comes face to face with a with a stone body of a friend. That's great.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's two good ideas. So if any of our listeners have a pitch they want to make us on what would be a good monster to turn into a movie, just hit us up at our Twitter account. I will link the thread below, and we will see you next week for our episode on huts.
All right. See you then.
See you then. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Monster Mechanics. You can find links and show notes at our website, monsterpod.org, or if you'd like to support us, head on over to patreon.com/monsterpod. We can be found on Twitter at monstermpod, or you can email us at monstermechanicspodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedback. Monster Mechanics is produced and edited by Scott Paladin. This episode was hosted by Scott Paladin and Zach Jaquays. All of the ideas produced during this podcast are released under a do what the f*** you want public license.